And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. Larry's efforts to help the attractive Claudia Vincent to get a start on Broadway have met with unexpected setbacks. He realizes that Mary has been opposed to having Claudia as a house guest at their Rosehaven, Long Island home, but he believes it's only because of Claudia's bitter clash with Rupert Barlow, financial backer of Larry's present Broadway play. Right now, on the long drive home from New York in the small hours of the morning, Larry heads the car along the highway at a swift pace. Claudia sits beside him. There's been a long silence until...
Larry, perhaps you'd better give up the idea of trying to help me get that part in your play.
Why?
Oh, I don't think it's going to turn out very well.
It's too early to tell about that, Claudia. Wait till we see how you handle the part after you've studied it a bit more.
But even if I lived up to your high expectations, Larry, I don't think I'd have a chance.
Oh, stranger things have happened.
Well, after talking to Sheila, I'm pretty discouraged. Gee, she was so absolutely convinced that I couldn't play the part. At least not as well as she's playing it now.
Oh, my dear Claudia. You have a lot to learn about actresses. One of the first things is that they're not the most modest people in the world.
But Sheila seemed so sure that I couldn't play the part.
Oh, she'd have said that about anybody who was suggested.
Yes, but if she wants to get out of a contract, if she's so anxious to marry this young man of hers and live in Europe...
She'll have to get used to the idea gradually. Right now, she's got her back up because someone has dared to suggest that she might be replaced. As soon as she gets over the shock of that, she'll be all right.
I'm not so sure, Larry.
Well, it all depends on whether she really loves this fellow as much as she claims.
There's more to it than that. How do you know that your producer, Mr. Ramsey, will accept me?
I don't. All I know is that he'll give you a chance to read for him. The rest is up to you.
Oh, it frightens me. I don't think I can possibly live up to your expectations.
Oh, nonsense. You've just had a bad time of it with Sheila. You shouldn't pay any attention to that kind of talk. The theater's full of it. Doesn't mean a thing. There's only one important thing to concentrate on, and that's the part you're going to study. There isn't much time, you know that. You'll have to work like the very devil.
But you'll help me, Larry. Oh, I couldn't do it without your help.
Of course I'll help you. I'll work with you every spare moment these next few days.
But, well, what about Mary?
What do you mean?
Well, if we spend so much time together around the house, won't she want to know the reason?
I don't think it's a good idea to say a word to anybody about this right now, Claudia. If even a hint of the plan should leak out, it would spoil everything. Harold Ramsey would probably get stubborn and refuse to consider any replacement of the cast.
Yes, I appreciate that, Larry. But, well, I was just wondering if Mary will understand. She doesn't like me, you know.
Oh, nonsense.
No, it isn't nonsense, Larry. I can't break through to her. I've tried every way I could. Well, you don't know how hard I've tried. But she just despises me. She can't wait for me to leave the house.
I'm sure you must be wrong. Mary's not like that. She's always trying to help someone.
Yes, but when it's you who want to help someone, then it's different. Isn't that so, Larry?
No, I don't think so, Claudia.
But if she openly refuses to allow you to help me with this play, then...
She won't. There's no question of that. And there isn't time to worry about such things. You'll have to get down to work. Serious work. You know, I think maybe it would be a good idea if we took the car somewhere tomorrow morning. Drove away someplace where we won't be interrupted. Out on the beach, perhaps, if the weather's all right. Then I can help you with your lines.
Oh, Larry, you don't know what this means to me. Well, I've never known anyone in all my life who was so thoughtful, so generous. Oh, I only hope that I won't ever let you down.
I'm sure you won't. At any rate, it's your big chance. You've got to give it everything you can.
And a short time later, Larry's put the car away and has walked back to the house. And now as he prepares to turn out the lights downstairs...
Good night, Larry, darling.
Claudia, I thought you'd gone up to bed.
I only waited to tell you how happy I am and, well, how grateful.
Oh, nonsense. Wait till you see if it works out. Better go up now. It's pretty late.
I know. I won't keep you any longer, Larry. It's been a glorious night. I'll never forget it. And I promise you that tomorrow I'll work and work. I'll show you that you haven't put your faith in the wrong person.
You make it sound very grim. But you have got the right idea.
Oh, now don't laugh at me, darling. I'm so deadly serious. You will help me. You promise?
Yes, of course, Claudia.
Ah, then I know I'll succeed. Oh, Larry, just to think that I could play opposite you on the stage night after night. It's thrilling.
Well, thanks. But you better get some rest now, or the family will be getting up.
Yes, and wouldn't it be too dreadful if they found us again here in the living room at daybreak?
Not much chance of that tonight. Oh, I'm dead tired.
Oh, poor Larry. It's mostly my fault. Well, perhaps you'll be glad of it someday, because I mean to see that you don't regret giving me my big chance. Good night, darling. I think you're wonderful.
Good night, Claudia. I hope you sleep well.
I know I shall, because I'll be thinking about you and the play the whole time.
Good night. I wonder if I locked the door. Oh, all right. Lights out everywhere except the hall. Oh, golly, I'm tired. Sleep standing up. Well, maybe it'll all work out. But I wish it was settled one way or the other.
You don't have to tiptoe, Larry. I'm not asleep.
Oh, you ought to be, Mary.
Why?
Oh, it's late. Darn late.
What time is it?
I don't know, honey, except that it's very late and I'm tired.
Oh,
I'm sorry if I woke you up.
you didn't. I haven't been asleep.
Anything wrong? Do you feel all right?
Quite all right, thank you. Did you have a pleasant evening?
Well, yes and no.
Whatever that means.
I took Claudia and Sheila out after the theater for a little while. We had quite a talk.
How did Claudia and Sheila get along?
Not too well, I'm afraid.
I don't suppose so. But it couldn't have been too bad, or you'd have been home before this.
We had a lot of things to talk about.
Really? I shouldn't have thought Claudia and your leading lady would have anything in common.
Well, that's where you're wrong, honey. As you may soon find out, if everything goes according to plan.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, can't explain now. Besides, I'm too tired. I'm sorry you had such a sleepless night, sweetheart. You better try and get some rest now.
I'm quite all right, Larry. I've just been thinking over a few things.
My, that sounds serious.
Perhaps it is. After you left today, I also had a visitor.
Oh, anybody I know?
Yes,
Well, fine. Who was it?
Rupert.
Rupert Barlow?
Of course.
I didn't think he'd be coming to this house in a hurry. Not after the way he's behaved to Claudia.
Why are you so sure that it's all Rupert's fault?
Of course it's Rupert's fault. Didn't he steal every penny of the Vincent fortune? Didn't he leave Claudia and her mother flat broke?
That's what she says. Rupert has an entirely different story to tell.
He would. Rupert Barlow has spent his life telling plausible tales to willing listeners. I'm surprised that he'd have the nerve to come here, or that you'd allow him in the house.
I don't see any reason why he shouldn't come here. He's a friend of ours.
He's not a friend of
Well,
mine.
he's a friend of mine, then. He put his money into your play, Larry. He made it possible for you to get a hit show on Broadway without waiting for months or perhaps years. I don't see why you should turn against him now.
Well, if you don't understand, Mary, just try to take my word for it. Rupert Barlow is a no-good guy. He's not to be trusted or believed. I don't see why the devil he came over here tonight. Why he thought he'd be welcome.
He came over because I asked him to.
You what?
I called him and asked him to come over. And he did.
Larry's too startled to say anything, and Mary has nothing further to contribute by way of explanation. But be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.